Hello everyone, today we're going to be painting this painted robot, and today we're going to be thinking about tones. Now we've talked about tones before. Tones are how light or dark a colour is. So if you look at my robot, you can see that he is grey, but he's not just one type of grey. We've got a very dark grey, and then the grey gets lighter and lighter and lighter until it looks nearly white. You can also see some very dark greys as well. And if you look at the background, you can see we've got two tones of green, one very dark green and one very light green. And today we're going to focus on making a range of tones of colour. Okay, so what you will need for this lesson, you will need white paint, you will need black paint, and you will need one bright colour. Now I chose green for my bright colour. In this lesson I'm going to choose blue, but it's absolutely up to you what colour you choose. You could use purple, blue, red, it's up to you. You also need a palette for mixing your paints. You need a water pot. You need a medium thick brush and a fine brush. And you also need some tissue to clean your brushes. Okay, so let's get started. Now you are becoming experts at drawing robots because we've done so in many of our lessons recently. So up to you to create your robot. Now I forgot one important thing. You need a black marker pen to draw the outline of your robot, and that's the first thing we're going to do. Okay, so my robot this time is going to look a little bit different to the one I showed you. His head is going to be like this. He's going to have antennae sticking out over here like that. And I'm going to draw the bottom. I'm going to have his neck. And then his body is going to come out like this. But I know you're very good at drawing robots now. So his legs are going to be jointed. So there's different parts to his legs. Just like that. Now I know you have lots of good ideas about what robots should look like, so it's totally up to you how you design your robot. My robot's arms are also going to be jointed. So jointed means that they've got lots of different parts. And then I'm going to draw the claws on the end. I do like my robot to have claws. They're very handy. Okay. And then once I've done the outline of my robot, you can go back and start to add the features of your robot. So the eyes, the nose, the mouth, all those different parts that you want him to have. Okay, and then I'm going to include some dials on my robot. And there we are. Can't wait to see the different designs you come up with year one. Let me just finish off. And one here. Okay. And I think I'll also have some wires coming out of my robot. Just like that. And he's going to have some wires over here. Okay, so that is my finished shape for my robot. And now it's time to start the painting. Now my robot is going to be different tones of grey. So what I need for grey, to mix grey, I need black paint and I need white paint. And I'm going to be, the more white paint you add to the black, the lighter the colour gets. Now you're going to need quite a fine brush to do the painting today, so you may need to use, at times you can use a thicker brush if you have bigger areas to do, but always swap to the fine brush if you've got small, tiny details to do like this, okay? So, first of all, I want quite a dark grey to do the main parts of the robot. So for his head, for his chest area, for parts of his legs. So all the biggest parts of the robot are going to be a dark grey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop up plenty of black. Plenty, 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 plenty. And then I'm going to wash my brush on the bottom of the pot, stroke it on the side, wipe, as you've seen me do lots of times, and then I'm going to scoop up the white. Now, if I want to have quite a dark grey, I don't want to scoop too much white. Okay, and then what you will also need, that I forgot to mention, is a piece of test paper where you can try out your colours. So am I happy with that? I think it's still a little bit light, so I'm going to scoop dark, sorry. So I'm going to scoop up another bit of white paint, and I think I'm happier with that. It's a little bit lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tip of my brush, and I'm going to paint around the lines, really carefully making sure I don't go over my black lines. And I'm going to do his whole head area, this quite dark grey. Remembering really carefully so you don't paint over the lines. So I'm going to paint all of those bits. I'm not going to paint his eyes or his mouth because I'm going to do those a lighter tone of grey. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to leave his neck to do a different grey colour. Then I'm going to do this part of his body. And you just choose all the parts you'd like to have really dark. So I think I'm going to leave this section a little bit lighter, but these parts on his arms, I want to have dark grey. Okay, there we go. So you decide which parts are going to be the darkest grey that you use. Okay, so now I'm going to mix a slightly lighter grey for this area here, and maybe in between the main arm sections. So I'm going to scoop up more white into the grey that I've already made. Keep scooping, and then remember to test it on your test paper to check that the colour is lighter. Yes, it is, but I still want a bit lighter. Let's have a look now. That's better. Okay, so this part is going to be a lighter grey. And I'm not going to finish off that. You can see what I'm doing. So I will then choose the other parts that I want to be lighter. Okay, and then you can either make an even lighter grey to finish off the rest of your robot, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush, and then I'm going to use a black, so black on its own to colour some of the parts of the robot. Now I don't want to do the dials of the robot black. I could do the outside of this dial black, but if I do the small details black, then they won't stand out. So adding just variations of tones of grey, okay, to make your robot as interesting as possible. Okay. Now, I need to change my brush because my brush is getting too big. I need to change to my finer brush, so I need to wash my brush, stroke it on the side, and then I'm going to take my fine brush, and I think I still want to have a slightly darker grey in some areas, so I'm going to do a darker grey down here. So it's up to you, year one. You can choose if you want dark patches on your robot, if you want really light grey patches on your robot. You make decisions about where it's going to be dark and where it's going to be light, okay? And you need to make sure your whole robot is covered. Okay, I'm using my fine brush, remember. Okay, and let me just do a slightly lighter mouth. Okay, so I've added more white to make it even lighter. Okay, so you will completely finish off painting your robot. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add what we call highlights. Now, highlights show where the light is. Now, I'm going to imagine that there is a light shining on my robot from over here. Now, if the light is shining on my robot here, it means that this part of my robot is going to be lighter, and this part, you won't be able to see the light. So over here, I need to add some black lines to show that it's dark, and I need to add some white lines to show that it's light over here. So what I'm going to do is dip my fine brush in a tiny bit of paint, and this is the dark part of my robot, so I'm just going to gently do a few lines showing where the robot is darkest. And can you see my brush is quite dry now? It starts off wet and then gets drier. That's how you want it to be. So dip a little bit of your brush, a few quick lines as the paintbrush gets drier. And that shows that the robot is in the dark over here and the light is not shining on him from this direction. Okay? And I can do the same right down the side of my robot. He's all in dark over here, but over on this side, the light is shining on the robot. So I'm going to take my white this time and do exactly the same, but using the white. And this just makes it look as if the light is shining on him from one direction. Okay, so that's my finished robot. I've still got parts to do, but you will be able to finish off yours. So while the robot body dries, I'm going to do the background. Now, if you look at my robot before, I used two tones. I used a dark green and a light green, and we're going to mix those two colours. So I'm going to split my page in half to add those two colours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by taking my nice bright colour, and I'm just going to divide the page where I want two colours to, the two tones of my colour to meet. So right across my robot, try not to get it onto your robot. And then I'm just going to paint really nice long lines in one direction to cover the background of the robot. Now you must remember when you're going not to paint over the robot, so use the tip of your brush and gently work around all those parts of the robot. Okay, tip of your brush, get inside all those tiny bits. And then when you've got nice big areas, nice long strokes in one direction. So you paint the bottom half at the darkest tone, and then you need to add white to your mixing palette, and you're going to mix a much lighter blue. So you need to scoop up the paint, take some white. You don't need to wash your brush this time because you're only using 2 colours, and I want it to be much lighter at the top. Let me try out that colour on my test paper. Yes, that's the colour I want. So you're going to do exactly the same. Oh, I don't know, actually I might want to make it a little bit lighter. So more white paint. You want a real contrast, a real difference between the 2 blue areas. Okay, so there I go. And you're going to do exactly the same on this side, remembering to paint around the corners really carefully, and then nice long strokes in the rest of the space. Okay, so once you have completed the background, year 1, there is one more really important job to do. And this, you need to wait until the paint has dried. So we might not be able to do it in the lesson. You may need to do it after the lesson. This is when we make the black lines around the robot stand out. Now, if you look, if you can see this line here, I've painted over it, and so it's looking a bit dark. And I don't want my robot to look dark. I want him to really stand out. So once your painting is dry, you need to get your black pen again and just trace over all of the lines of your robot, every single one, around the eyes, around the mouth, every single line. And that will just help your robot to really stand out, and it will make your robot look finished. Okay, so year 1, I'm going to leave you to get on with your painted robots. Can't wait to see them on Firefly. Good work. Bye for now.